to tell you that last night, Dr. Wong played a concert in Boston, and she was good enough to get up super early this morning so she could be with us, and fortunately JetBlue behaved, and she got here, and so we're very, very excited to have her. Dr. Wong is Associate Co-Director of the Arts and Humanities Initiative at Harvard Medical School. Not only is she a musician, arts advocate, and author, Dr. Wong is a pediatrician at Milton Pediatric Associates and an assistant clinical professor of pediatrics at Harvard Medical School. She is past president and a current violinist in the Longwood Symphony Orchestra, the ensemble of Boston's medical community. Dr. Wong serves on a number of boards and works closely with Sistema-inspired programs for music as social change in Massachusetts. Dr. Wong earned her bachelor's degree in East Asian Studies from Harvard University, graduated from New York University School of Medicine, and received an honorary degree from Wheelock College in 2016. In 2012, she published her book, which I might say is really fantastic, Scales to Scalpels, Doctors Who Practice the Healing Arts of Music and Medicine, in collaboration with writer Robert Villegas. Students, family, and friends, it is my great privilege to invite Dr. Lisa Wong to the podium. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dean Escher, Regents, faculty of the College of Fine Arts, parents, friends, and especially students. Congratulations to all of you, the class of 2024. I am just thrilled to be here in Las Vegas, and I have to say, this is the first time I've ever been to Las Vegas. I have had a wonderful time so far. I'm very excited. But graduates, you've made it. Congratulations. After all these years of hard work, the concentration, the grit, the dedication, you have arrived at this day as college graduates, and this is a great moment that we're all here to share with you. I'd also like to extend my congratulations to the UNLV faculty and administrators, because you have guided these students. You opened new doors of knowledge for them to explore. You reassured them that curiosity is a good thing, and that trial and error, rehearsal, revision, those are all essential parts of the artistic process in the different art forms that you have chosen, but also in life. And I'm sure you have learned as much from the students as they have learned from you. Finally, congratulations to all of the families and friends out there. You've supported these students, cheered them on, attended their performances, galleries, listened to their stories, shared their moments of joy and excitement, and walked with them through their ups and downs. You have been an essential part that has helped them become the artists that they are today. But graduates, we are all here today to celebrate your graduation, a moment that signifies not the end, but a beginning. This day may or may not be the last time you're in a university classroom, but today is the beginning of a new educational journey. It's true in every field, but particularly in the arts. The learning never stops. This is the commencement of a journey that will take you to new places, bring you new challenges, and engage you in new adventures that you might not even yet imagine. This is exciting, exhilarating, and sometimes it will be terrifying. But know that your training in the arts is your superpower. Being an artist has prepared you with the resilience, flexibility, and creativity that it takes to succeed. You are now members of the global community of artists, a venerable tradition. You are the observers and interpreters. You see things in ways that others might not. Through your art, your music, your poetry, your film, you present new possibilities that open eyes. You are the teachers. We're going to learn from you, from many of you who are destined to become the leading voices in your communities. Share your knowledge and art widely, please. teach it to the next generation. You are the disruptors. You have the power through art to shape our world and help shape our future for the better. And finally, you are the creators. By expressing yourself through nonverbal ways, using your hands, your voice, your body, you find a way to go straight to the matter, straight to the heart. As Dean Usher mentioned, back home in Boston, I play the viola in the Longwood Symphony Orchestra, an orchestra made up of healthcare professionals, from medical students to therapists to doctors, and even an architect who designs hospitals, which I just learned is something that you learn here. We play music together every week. We perform 4 concerts a year, and each concert raises funds and awareness for nonprofits working to solve a variety of public health issues. We have been doing this work through music for over 30 years. In fact, just last night, we performed a concert for the YWCA Cambridge, which is an organization that provides safe emergency housing for women in need, promotes youth empowerment, and works to challenge the structural barriers of social justice and health equity. In our audience, there were fellow med students, doctors, music lovers, and the women of the YWCA. We were there in community. So what we've learned along the way is this: music is healing, full stop. It is healing not only for our audience, it's not only for our nonprofits, not only for their clients, it is healing for us as musicians who heal. This is because we are all wired as social beings to work together in harmony. We are wired to make things better, to create and appreciate beauty. We are all wired to care, both in the concert hall and at the bedside. It's not a coincidence that most doctors play a musical instrument. We all started our instruments long before we knew we were going to be doctors. When we were young, we witnessed how music made people feel better. Our grandmothers, our families, kids in the hospitals. We learned that the art of music is connected to the art of healing, long before we ever went into a medical school. So what does it take to be an artist? My colleagues, Ellen Winner and Lois Hetland at Harvard's Project Zero, describe the 8 studio habits of mind, an iterative process, and when they design it, it's in an endless circle. As artists, we observe, we envision, we express, we develop our craft, we engage and persist, step back and reflect, stretch and explore, and learn to understand our world, and it goes round and round again. These are the habits of mind that all of you as artists and we as musicians and physicians practice every day. So my scientific colleagues in the field of neuroaesthetics demonstrate that by practicing these studio habits of mind and following artistic disciplines in the pursuit of beauty, our hearts and minds, and actually our brains, have been changed. Did you know, for example, that we can see positive differences on functional MRIs, which is like a CAT scan? We can see in the brains of children that have had music lessons for only 2 years, we can see a difference. There is a greater connection between the expressive and the receptive language parts of the brain when they learn music. There are also greater connections between the left and the right sides of the brain, the corpus callosum. And once these neural pathways are established, these information superhighways, they can be used to carry all sorts of information. This is the basis of the greater resilience that we all have as artists. The arts are a great way to enhance neuroplasticity in the brain. This is because the arts require work, and you know this. It requires time, intense discipline, the ability to discern small differences, and the inner drive that keeps us all constantly striving, practicing our art, and trying to attain something that we envision. We develop these skills, and these can be used in many domains in our life. There's another important skill that we learn as artists. In creating, we have learned to be comfortable with a purposeful silence, stillness, and slowing down. It's a blank canvas for creativity. This is a value and a practice that is too often forgotten in our digital world. Because indeed, you are graduating into a complicated world in need of a lot of healing. Too often, the important events and concerns of our world seem to be distilled into the unfocused, easily digested, and easily misconstrued soundbite, into black and white, loud and soft, drama and comedy. But life is more complex than that. As artists, you and I know that phrasing, nuance, shadow, shading, the very slight change of an angle, or the thickness of a brushstroke, these are what distinguish us. These are what we spend our lives attending to, worrying about, and perfecting. As artists, we have the privilege of getting to live in this world of nuance, getting comfortable with ambiguity. That is where creativity lies, and that's where you and I thrive. I know you're probably worried about your immediate future. Don't worry. The arts, your skills, and your perspective are needed now more than ever. About 5 years ago, I was privileged to be on a committee of the Higher Education Board of the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine in Washington. The board was concerned that most colleges were turning more and more of their focus to STEM education, to the detriment of the arts and humanities. So this committee was exploring the role of integration of the arts and humanities into STEM education, as well as the other way around, the role of the integration of the sciences into art education. Our committee's consensus report was titled, "Branches from the Same Tree." That's a quote from Dr. Albert Einstein, who maintained that all religions, arts, and sciences were branches from the same tree. Einstein himself was known to take out his violin when he was trying to decipher the most thorny physics problems. What I learned from that committee, which was made up of leaders in higher ed, science, music, art, engineering, was how important a dialogue was to keep going between the arts and sciences. The engineers in the room were most concerned that their young engineers who trained only in STEM did not have the creativity and flexibility to drive innovation, and they were advocating for more arts education for their students. Artists are needed and are critical in places you might not immediately think about. For example, at NASA, the space agency, there are artists in residence who not only help the public understand complex data through artistic rendering, but help engineers to see differently. At the Jet Propulsion Labs in Pasadena, the artists wrote, "While we do not solve equations or engineer landing gear, we do look at the world differently than a scientist or an engineer. We organize their information and ask them questions that their peers do not ask, with the hope that it will help them see their incredibly complicated ideas in a new way. Or, as we say, we help them think through their thinking." There are artists in residence at Boston City Hall. There is an artist in residence at the US EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. There are industries, of course, that are using artists to create human interface and computer design. And in medicine, the arts are incorporated into healing patients with mental health challenges, in physical rehabilitation, in Parkinson's, and dementia. And soon we may be able to prescribe the arts as part of a patient's whole health strategy. I look forward to a day that there's an artist or arts or music therapist in every community health center in our country.
Yes.
The National Endowment for the Arts recently held a summit on healing, bridging, and thriving to underscore how the arts can and should be incorporated into every person's life, that access to the arts is a human right, and I couldn't agree more. So I'd like to close with a quote from the presidential proclamation announcing National Arts and Humanities Month last year. "Since our founding days, America's arts and humanities have helped tell the story of our nation. They represent the freedom of expression that empowers Americans to speak and think independently and creatively. They build bridges of understanding by chronicling the shared experiences of hope, heartbreak, joy, and pain that help us see ourselves in one another. And they record and wrestle with the truth of our history while envisioning all the possibilities our future holds. Graduates of 2024, you are that future. As artists, you will be on the front lines of healing our fractured world and bringing people together. What you do is the antidote to the isolation, loneliness, and unrest that is affecting so much of our community. So thank you, class of 2024, for your work, your passion, and your humanity. I look forward to being a part of the world you create.